Hi everyone, I'm Megan Sullivan and welcome to the second tips and tricks video for Bravely Default 2. If you didn't catch the first video, I'll put a link right here. Now in my previous video, I mostly focused on some of my favorite job classes, since correctly mixing and matching vocations is the key to winning Bravely Default 2. Well, that and I shared a boss breaking tip for the early chapters of the game. But there are like 24 professions in Bravely Default 2, and all of them have at least one super useful active and passive skill, plus cool specialties. So how does one unlock all these cool abilities without having to level grind for hours and hours and hours? Well, I'm going to share some helpful tips on how to master jobs quickly and efficiently so you can easily boss around bosses without wasting a bunch of time. And stay tuned until the end of this video, because I'm going to show you how to master an entire job class, as in go from level 1 to 12, or become a legendary user going from level 12 to level 15 in as little as, get this, 20 minutes. Alright, let's get started. So the first tip is to learn and equip the Freelancer's JP Up and JP Up and Up skills. Combining these two passive abilities will let your heroes earn more job points in battle, always a good thing. So make sure to unlock these skills ASAP. Also, shout out to the amazing DeathStar109 for this awesome tip that he left on my previous tips and tricks video. The Freelancer job has a cool specialty called Late Bloomer that boosts all stats based on the number of jobs mastered. And we're going to learn how to quickly master each job class later in this video, so thank you DeathStar109 for that awesome tip. Number 2 is to make generous use of the Freelancer's Forage ability, which lets your Freelancer pick random stuff off the ground during combat, including potions, weapons, and most importantly of all, job orbs, which give a character extra job points when consumed. In other words, if you have some free time and want some free stuff, just change your party into Freelancers, return to an area in the game where enemy levels are lower than your heroes, and use the Forage skill to your heart's content. Do this and your inventory will be full of tents, potions, and small job orbs in no time. Number 3, take advantage of the new exploration mode. Bravely Default 2's exploration mode allows you to earn consumable items whenever you put your Nintendo Switch into sleep mode. The way it works is you go to the boat lending lady you meet at the start of the game. Her shop is conveniently located all over the continent of Excellent, and ask to, quote, start exploration mode. Then whenever your Switch is in sleep mode, Seth will go out exploring and come back laden with gifts for his teammates, which often includes multiple job orbs. Now it's important to remember that exploration mode only works for 12 hours at a time, and that you have to restart it once you collect your treasure. So make sure you've chosen the start exploring option before you leave the boat lady's shop, otherwise you'll miss out on free stuff. Number 4, be on the lookout for missions and side quests that yield job orbs. This tip is self-explanatory, but the other reason I want you to pay attention to these missions is because they sometimes reveal more about important characters and NPCs than you otherwise would have learned during the main storyline, so don't skip these. And finally, number 5, a super duper handy trick that will have you go from a middling employee to a jack of all trades and master of all in no time. Now I actually learned this trick from the Reset Era Bravely Default 2 thread, and when I tried it out for myself, I was amazed how well it works, which is why I want to pass the savings, time savings that is, onto you. So shout out to Reset Era's Boule Boule for this cool trick, because it helped me quickly master advanced vocations like, spoiler alert, Brave Bearer, Oracle, and other useful professions. So first what you want to do is go to Savalon after you've completed Chapter 1. At this point, monsters should run away screaming whenever you approach. This is a good thing, because that means combat is going to be super fast and super easy for you. But before you fight anything, first go into town and buy some fresh fish bait from the merchant. You can also try farming for it in the surrounding area if you want to save some cash. Then what you want to do is make your way south of Savalon to the beachhead where a bunch of Sahagins, did I say that right, are hanging out. Take out the fresh fish and lure them towards you. The idea is to ensure that you start a string of consecutive battles. Why? Because fighting battles back to back to back, especially at night, will earn you lots of job points, sometimes like hundreds of them. Once you're in battle, just crank the battle speed up to its highest point, spam the enemy with a bunch of spells or weapons they're weak to, and watch the job job points, money, and items come pouring in. I actually timed how long it took my 4 Heroes of Light to master the late game Brave Bearer class while doing this trick. Master meaning maxing out levels 1 through 12. And it took me a grand total of just a little over 20 minutes. That's it. I also tried to see how long it took a character who had already mastered a class, say Beastmaster, to become a legendary user, a character who's mastered levels 13 through 15 of a job, and that also only took about 20 minutes. In short, you could probably completely max out an entire job class, even the advanced ones, in about an hour or less with this fish bait trick. Pretty cool, right? Oh, by the way, tangent, but I owe the Pictomancer and other buffing debuffing jobs an apology. I kind of dismissed these jobs as boring and not overly useful in my last video, but I was wrong. I recently used the Pictomancer's zappable chartreuse and disenchanting wave spells in a tough boss fight, and they made a real difference. And hey, now that we've all learned this cool job point farming technique, there's no reason not to max out all of these jobs anyway. Your Freelancer and their late bloomer ability will thank you for it. And that's it from me. What tips and tricks do you have for Bravely Default 2? Don't be shy, I'd love to know what works for you. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if you can spare a dime, I'd love your support on Patreon as well so I can do this full time. Just hit me up on patreon.com/meghanrsullivan. Thanks so much for watching, guys. May the light of the crystals be with you always.